Hi, welcome back. We are going to continue with the file that we had created in a prior content, and we're going to talk about some formatting. So when you consider the textbook, we are still in Chapter 1, Fundamental Skills. I hope that as you continue to use the product that you make use of the textbook. And there are two ways to open the file. So one of the ways to open the file is to go out to Excel. So I could just type Excel and EXCEL, and sure enough, there it is. Now notice, if you will, down here on my taskbar, I actually have Excel open because I was doing some other work. And that's fine if you have it open. I sort of put it aside. I had minimized it. Or you can click here. Either way works. And what you want to do is go to File, Open, and when you click on the Open button, now you have some choices. OneDrive, this PC, we pretty much have been, I had in the prior content said, oh, let's save the file in working with file management on your flash drive or on your own computer. So I'm going to click on Browse, and I can go to my desktop for this course. And this is CMP 102, and I have classwork. And the file that we had created was sales by month. So I'm going to select sales by month. Now I'm going to cancel out of here for just a second to show you another way that you can find the file and open it. And what I'll do is I'll X out of everything. I can go to my Windows Explorer, which is this little icon, File Explorer. Hold on one second. Let me bring my screen down a smidgen. It sort of looks like a manila folder. It's File Explorer, and I'm going to click on that. Anything down in our taskbar, we can just use a single click. Any of my icons over here, I would double click. And I can go to my desktop, and in my case, and so I'm drilling down. So I'm on this PC on the desktop, Fall 2019, Computer 102, and it was classwork. So I have other ways that I can retrieve the file that I'm looking for. One other way I could do it is if I really didn't remember where I left it, I could have perhaps from the desktop just typed in month or sales by month, and hopefully it would have found it. The problem with that is we really want to get you used to this whole idea of file management and how to save files so that you can retrieve them. So I'm going to click on my sales by month, and here it is. And I want to maximize the screen. I like to make use of the entire screen. Okay, so I have my sales by month file. It's Excel. And this is as far as we had gotten. Now, if you look on page 10, well, obviously this does not look quite like figure 1-1, but that's okay. We're going to work a little bit more with this to make it look more like figure 1-1. So the first thing that we had done, just to refresh ourselves, again, if you haven't played with the file for a while, I strongly recommend you take a few moments and just get a sense of what you have here. So I have General Merchandise World 2011 retail sales in the millions. And if I look on page 10, I see that, oh, that's taking up one row but two lines, and it's blue. Well, I can show you how to do that. My month, my unit sales. My unit sales works across. I don't see average price. But on row 2 of figure 1-1, I can see that it has wrapped around so that it fits a little bit better. Then I have my months. I have my total sales at the end. I have some sales amounts. I have some prices. The prices on figure 1-1 show dollar signs, and I have nothing yet for sales dollars or for unit sales totals. So I want to show you how to put some of that in before we go and create the formatting. So let's start off with sales dollars. Now, I'm going to, in general, assume that instead of average price, that column C contained the true price. How would I create a formula? Well, I'm going to start with the equal sign. Always, 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 your formulas will start with an equal sign. I'm going to zoom this up so that we can see it a little bit better. Equal. So in cell D3, I start with the equal sign. Now notice as I'm typing in my cell, I can see the formula starting to populate. But up here in my formula bar, I see something happening also. I see the equal sign. Now, I want to multiply the value in cell B3, so I could type B3, or I can just click with my mouse to B3, or I could have used my arrow keys. Now, how do I multiply? Well, when you were in math class, you used a little plus sign, a minus sign, a division sign, the little dash with the dots above and below, and the little X for multiplication. Well, in our case, the multiplication is going to look like a star. And on your 8 key, if you do Shift 8, you'll see the star. If you have an extended keypad, you'll see star also. So I'm going to enter star, and then I'm going to click on my price. And I hit enter. Okay, and I end up with the value of 26673.3. And first thing I notice is, gee, the number's not quite the same as it is in the book. Well, this is where your labels become very important. In this particular case in figure 1-1, because it was an average price, okay, average might have been the middle between the lowest and the highest. Perhaps a lot of sales had been made in January with a sale price, so my numbers are a little bit smaller. But this is something that you want to consider. Your target audience will probably pick up on that. Now, before we go any further, before we copy this formula down for February through December, we want to make certain that it's correct. My recommendation is to take one or the other, in this case B3 or C3, so one or the other of the operands, and modify them, change them slightly so that you can see that the math works correctly. So for example, if my average price instead of $9.99 was $1, I'm going to temporarily hit hit 1. I would see that my formula works the same. Now I'm going to come up and undo because I don't want to lose the fact that it was an average price of $9.99. Or you could have changed unit sales. $9.99, I'm pretty good with dealing with units, zeros, ones, tens. If I had sold 10 units at $9.99, I know that it would be 99.9. So I want to make certain the formula is correct before I copy it. Now, different ways to copy the formula. I have to start off by saying what formula do I want to copy. So I'm sitting in cell D3, and I could click on the copy button, and now I have a blinking marquee. Okay, I can highlight from cell D4 through D14, and I can click on paste, and my numbers populate. Or what I could do is I click the undo button just then. I can sit again on the formula I like. I can take my mouse, point to that formula, and right click, and I have copy. Right click paste. Okay. Or yet another way, and I know I'm showing you a lot of different ways, but eventually you'll find certain ways that work best for you. If you don't like the blinking marquee, just click on the escape button, which is the upper leftmost button on your keyboard. I'm sitting here, and I could bring my mouse down to the lower right hand corner. We did this with January through December, the autofill option. And what I would do is I would just drag it down using the skinny crosshair. And how do I double check on this? Well, if I click on, let's say I click on cell D14, and I can see equal, blue is B14, so I'm multiplying this by, so there's my multiplication, and C14. So I like that formula, so that's good. Okay, now I want to sum my total sales, and a couple of different ways that you can do this. one of the ways that I would strongly recommend not doing, I'll show it to you, but then I'll tell you please don't do it this way. I could say equal this, so B14 plus B13 plus B10, or B12 plus B11 plus B10 plus B11. And the reason I say to not do it this way is that it's very easy to make a mistake and it's inefficient. If I go and create a new row in the middle, maybe I have a September middling way, middle of September sort of thing, row, it won't accept it. So this is not good. Whenever you have something that you want to do math on and it's a range and the range is adjacent, meaning B14, B13, they're all right next to each other. My recommendation is to do the following. Let's delete this, or if you just start typing it will delete it anyway. So let me escape. I'll just hit delete. I could do equal, let's use the function sum, and I can highlight from January through December. And I can either put the right parenthesis or not. If I'm lazy, Excel will put it in for me, but if I really want to do it correctly, I could just put it there. And I have 19,775. Now, the numbers are a little bit different, again, from my total sales. So I might want to check. Oh, sure enough, here's my problem. My December was 3,500. So I have an error here with my December. And I have 20775. Now, another way to do it, I'll leave that number there, is I want to sum the sales dollars. And the easiest way to do this is from my home menu tab. There's something called auto sum. It looks like a Greek sigma, and I'm going to click on that, and notice that it automatically, Excel will say, oh, I found some numbers nearby. Is this what you want to add? And I click enter, and there I get my number. Now, we mentioned that the numbers are not quite the same, and it's because the average prices, the book figure 1-1 did not actually put formulas in here. They hard-coded the sales dollars, but I wanted you to at least see this. So, a couple things now that we want to change, and that before we close out this particular video. First off, it's easier to read unit sales if it has commas. So I'm going to highlight or select B3 through B15. So how do I do that? I point to B3. I get a fat white mouse. My mouse has a look of a fat white plus sign. I'm going to hold the mouse down, and I'm just going to drag down, always having that fat white mouse. My mouse looks like a fat white plus. And I'm going to click on the button that says comma style. Now, I don't want the .00 because seriously, I'm only going to sell whole units. So I just click on the button as I hover over my home button number section, decrease decimal, and there I have my commas. Now for sales dollars, I like to have it look like money, and so I'm going to click on my home menu, the number section, and I'll click on the dollar sign. Now notice in this particular case the dollar sign is hugging the left hand side and the numbers are on the right hand side. That's fine, but later on we'll talk about how we can modify the look so that the dollar sign is right adjacent to the number. Now please click save on your file, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to come back in, and in part 2 I'm going to do additional formatting to make it look like figure 1-1. Thank you.